This is ridiculous. This is preposterous. How can the NBA cockblock Joel Embiid? This is awful. No date for JoJo. Despicable. Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fedq. I think this is ridiculous. JoJo got snubbed.
It's astounding how the man puts up historic numbers, gets compared to Wilt Chamberlain, and still doesn't even sniff the All-Star game. Are you kidding me? What is going on? I want to revote like in 2008 with Bush. Let's get back in electoral votes and get this right, because this is asinine.
Yeah, to be honest with you, if it was the old system, Joel Embiid would be a starter, because the old system, the fan vote comprised 100% of the vote, and now it's different where it's 50% of the fan vote, 25% of the media, 25% of the players. And because of that, Joel Embiid finished fourth in that vote. He finished third in the fan voting, but fourth. And he's not a starter in the game. And the reserves now have been announced. 3 front court reserves. And they went to Kevin Love, Paul Millsap, and Paul George. So if you want to give it to George and Love, fine. Paul Millsap, okay? This is his 4th All-Star game. Statistically, he's scoring the most points of his career. But he's only shooting 44.1% from the field. So what's happening here is they took, I guess, the best player on a team that's, 4th in the East. And I guess they rewarded the Hawks, and JoJo got left hanging. Because rookies, I mean, historically, I think there's only been 46 rookies total to make the All-Star game. And that does not include LeBron James. It doesn't include Michael Jordan. It hasn't happened since 2011, since Blake Griffin. So historically, rookies just don't make the All-Star game. What do you think? Why didn't he get in?
I don't know. I don't know if it's because he's just not on a winning team, if that has something to do with it.
Well, they're winning now.
Yeah, they're winning right now. I don't know. It's just we just started to get media attention, but they looked atrocious in the beginning of the year. I don't know if it's because of that, or we had talked about speculation maybe because of Brian Colangelo, or I think, though, the reason they changed the votes from 100% fans to what they're doing now, because I don't remember if you remember this, because AI didn't make his rookie year. He didn't make the All-Star game either, and he was averaging 23 points a game. But I think it was the one year that AI was hurt, only played for a month and a half, and he still made the All-Star game right off the bat. So I think they just wanted to change things because he didn't deserve to make the All-Star game. It's just fan favorites. People want to see certain players in there. That's why they had comprised and changed the voting techniques. I think that's why, though, because he's just not on a great team. So why not give it to a team that's in the playoff bounds and he's their best player?
Yeah, Paul Millsap. I'm gonna bring up their stats right now. Okay, Paul Millsap averages 17.6 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, and then, like I said, 44.1% from the floor. All right, Joel Embiid. Per game stats, 20.2 points per game, 7.8 rebounds. He shoots 46.6% from the field, and this is in 25.4 minutes per game. So you look at per 36 stats, his per 36-minute stat line, 28.7 points, 11.1 rebounds per game. Certainly, I mean, just ridiculously astronomical numbers there. It's not like he's in the Western Conference where there's Marc Gasol and DeMarcus Cousins and, because Karl Anthony Towns didn't make the All-Star team, and that might seem ridiculous. But in the West, I can understand. But in the Eastern Conference, not front court heavy. Paul Millsap, come on.
I don't get it. And the only guy that maybe
I'm just repeating everything. Like, people have been saying this for the last 2 days, but I don't see how Paul Millsap has MVP anywhere.
It doesn't, because look at the numbers. He shatters his, and it's because it's so amazing because he does it in so little amount of time to where you figured he was a shoo-in. And I don't know if that's Adam Silver just sticking it to us because of what the organization has gone through, what Sam Hinkie had done. I know he wasn't happy about it. Is it him sticking it to us? Be like, I don't want the NBA to turn into this, have teams completely stripped down and do what Hinkie did to just try to get the top picks for the 3, 4, 5 years in a row, but you build your team through the draft. So I don't know. I'm scratching my head. Westbrook got snuffed too, but you're right. There's nobody standing in Joel's. Maybe Hassan Whiteside is close to making. That's probably the only more talented big man in the East. But who else is there? Paul Millsap's certainly not. It's not like you have the Anthony Davises, the Boogies, the Marcus Sauls, the Marcus Aldridges. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so let's look historically a little bit, and just to see kind of what these rookies did to make the All-Star game over recent years. So I got stats in front of me. All right, so 2011 was the last time Blake Griffin at the All-Star break. He was averaging 22.8 points, 12.6 rebounds per game. That's ridiculous numbers. Yes, definitely deserving of an All-Star bid. 2003, Yao Ming got voted in at the fan vote. 13 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game. And the last rookie to not make the fan vote that wasn't Blake Griffin, you got to go all the way back to 1998. So the last two true rookies to make the All-Star game, Blake Griffin and Tim Duncan in 98, 18.2 points per game, 11.5 rebounds. So a lot of these rookies, you go down and it's, a lot of them are fan vote. Michael Jordan averaged 27.4 points per game his rookie year, made the All-Star team. Hakeem Olajuwon, who a lot of people are comparing Joel Embiid to, as a rookie, averaged 20.7 points per game. You look at some of these other bigs back in the early 90s. Dikembe Mutombo made the All-Star team as a rookie, 19.1 points per game, 13.3 rebounds per game. That's pretty insane numbers. David Robinson, 1990, made it as a rookie, 23.2 points per game, 11.8 rebounds. And Patrick Ewing, 1986, 20.9 points per game, 9.2 rebounds. So when you actually look historically, these bigs actually put up better numbers in the rookie years. But when you compare Paul Millsap to Joel Embiid in this specific instance, no way Joel Embiid should not be an All-Star this year.
Yeah,
no way.
No, there's no way. Even as a reserve, he should have made it. It's just baffling on what he could do. And maybe Blake Griffin, maybe he got the vote because of how sky high he could get and how exciting he could do things. Maybe people wanted to see that more. I just don't know. I feel like people wanted to see Embiid go in there and play, even if it was for 5 to 10 minutes. Even if he got a little time, the man just should have made it, and he got completely snuffed. And Westbrook, I don't think made it because he's a guy that doesn't really hold back. He's a mouthy player. He's a little rough around the edges. So I think that's why he didn't get in. I just think this has to do with Adam Silver and him being a dictator and making things go every which way that he wants to do. I mean, he's even talked about shortening the quarters, for God's sakes, in the NBA because of the youth, because they don't have enough attention span to watch the game. So we're going to alter this just because of a few people that don't have enough attention span to pay attention to it. Basketball's short as is. Why are you just going to change the rule? I don't want that to happen. I don't like this guy running the NBA. I'm not a fan of it. And this is what he's going to do. He's going to kind of ruin the game. Even though the All-Star break really doesn't mean anything, like, so what? It's one game. He could have got hurt. But just the sheer fact that he should have had that title as an All-Star as his rookie year back with what he's done.
Well, the contrarians are saying, well, it's better off that he's not in the game because he's not going to get hurt. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. What was that?
Yeah, the contrarians out there are like, well, it's better off that he's not playing in the game because I don't want to see him get hurt. What are your thoughts on that?
It doesn't matter. He could get hurt tomorrow. He could get hurt.
He could get hurt in the Rising Stars game.
Yeah, he could get hurt at any point in time. So it doesn't matter. If you hold him back this game, the next game, or 2 weeks from now, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's nothing you can do. You could just try to manage it as best as possible, and everything is just up to fate at this point. Like, we could manage him all throughout this year and do everything that the doctors ask. God forbid I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but you know where I'm going with this.
No point in need to go further. All right. So, yeah, so basically to conclude in like 30 seconds, Joel Embiid should have been an all-star. He got snubbed. But if you look historically at his numbers compared to other All-Star rookies, they actually don't match up. But when you look circumstantially at what the prospects were of who should have made the team, obviously he should have been in over Paul Millsap there. So what do you think? Is that concluded for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. That's about right. He should have made it over Paul Millsap. The other guys I can understand getting in. They're great players. But he should have got in over Paul Millsap.
Yeah, Paul Millsap is the gripe. That is the gripe. That's it right there. Maybe they could have taken another front court player. Maybe that's what they could, because they only took 3 of them. So maybe, who were the guards that made it? Because my friend was suggesting, well, he should have made it over Kemba Walker.
John Wall didn't make it. I'm trying to think who did make it. Kemba Walker.
I mean, it's what? Isaiah Thomas made it.
Isaiah Thomas made it. I don't know how John Wall didn't make it either.
Oh, it says John Wall's on it.
Oh, he is? He did make it?
Yeah, and Kyle Lowry. So those are your 4. And those guys are all deserving.
I like Kemba Walker. I think I'm a big fan of Kemba Walker, but I believe the Hornets are in a playoff hunt. They're what, 7th or 8th seed or 6th?
Something like that. Yeah. I like Kemba Walker too. I do.
But right, it just kind of seems like he's sticking it to us by not putting another guard in. You're putting another big man, kind of like, oh, here you go, Embiid. Could have been you, but we're going to put another front court guy in here instead of another guard.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably Kemba Walker probably deserves it over Embiid.
I could go that far. He's a very exciting player.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the game last night because, again, national audience. So ESPN picked up a Sixers game. They flexed it. And, oh, my God, I mean, I know they lost. I mean, James Harden went for a 51-point triple-double, which is ridiculous. But that was a really exciting game last night. Joel Embiid, first drive of the game. Nene, now trust the process. I'll tell you that.
Right on him. Dunked right on him. That was the way to start it off. And I feel like Embiid had a chip on his shoulder, even though he came out and said he really didn't care that he didn't make the All-Star game. He was young. He was going to make plenty more to come. He's got plenty of years to make more All-Star. But I feel like he had a chip on his shoulder to kind of show everybody, I deserve to be in this game. And let me come out and show you. Because I physically put this team on my back and made them propel to this 10-3 record in 2017.
Yeah. And there was a point in the game in the third quarter where they were down by like 9 or 11 points, and Embiid goes on this personal 8-0 run. Hits a pair of 3-pointers. I mean, the dude is clutch. And I'm really starting to pick up on? TJ McConnell is amazing at setting up the trailer 3. Like, he just does it so suddenly. Like, he crosses the half court, and all of a sudden he just real quickly, real subtly, Embiid gets the ball, and he gets a wide-open 3 every time. Watch it next time.
So you're on the TJ train finally?
Well, I'm on. No. I've liked TJ McConnell.
I know you have. What
I'm saying is I'm on the TJ McConnell trail train.
He's great. He really just knows how to run the team, and I like him. Like I've said before, I just like what I've seen out of this kid and grow over the past couple of years. I mean, it's been fun to watch. He just knows how to be a floor general out there. He knows how to get the players the ball in the right spots. He's very fun to watch. He's clutch too. He plays really good defense, and I think he's an underrated passer. I think he's a very good passer. Now, obviously, when Ben comes back, he's going to be the floor general because he's got terrific vision, but he was a really solid backup, and I would really look hard into signing him because he would be great coming in and out and giving Ben some rest. Even if they kick Ben down to the 4, this guy knows how to run the team because even Sauce, when those two were going back and forth, they've done a really good job on this 10-3 record that we were doing. They've been really good in the backcourt running this team. It's been really fun to watch.
Yeah. You do not touch the TJ has. It's like plastic.
It is. He looks like a dude from 1950. He looks like a doll or something. Like it doesn't move. It's slicked back. 1950s, the hair going against the beard. But I'll pose a question. Yep. Why was Dario Saric on Harden most of the game last night? Covington should have been on Harden. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense because he's too slow-footed for Harden. Harden was just like crossing him up, breaking his ankles. It was too easy for him. The step back jumpers. Saric had no chance. Saric is like, when it comes to defense, Saric is a guy that's like underrated when it comes to protecting the rim. Protecting the rim is actually because he times his jump pretty well, and he did it again last night. But in terms of having to guard somebody off the dribble, his feet are too slow, and he can't do it. And Robert Covington, yes, he should have been on James Harden last night. Yeah, completely agree.
I mean, I was just like hoping in the first half Brett would make a change, and then you would see Covington on there, but then they would switch back to having Ilyasova and then Saric back on there. I was just like, come on, Brett, you got to see what's happening here. He was just like putty in his hand. Harden was just setting him up, hit the jab step, go back, and then drain the shot. I mean, that guy is really fun to watch. Nothing to take away from Saric, but he is an unbelievable player, and James Harden deserves MVP finally this year. He's playing out of his mind.
Okay, this was a debate that Sean and – well, we kind of had this debate last night. Would you consider James Harden a top 5 player in the NBA?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't think – I put Russell Westbrook ahead of him.
I would too.
Okay, because my 5 were LeBron, Durant, Curry, Anthony Davis, Westbrook.
I'd have to throw Kawhi Leonard in there in the top 5 over Curry, just because of his ability to lock down anybody on the court. And Harden doesn't play great defense. That's
why I didn't put him top 5.
That's the only thing that really hurts him. But his offensive game and his ability his vision is fantastic too. It's just that's so hard. I think I would put him over Curry though. But Kawhi Leonard, and AD, I have to take AD out of there just because he doesn't stay healthy enough for me to be considered in the top.
I can understand that because from like a talent perspective, AD is fucking unbelievable.
Absolutely, yeah. Incredible. Yeah. But he's had too many injuries to be on the court for enough for me to put him in the top 5.
I can't take Curry out of the top 3. Like Curry to me is the second best player on the fucking planet.
He's awesome. He is really fun to watch. I mean, we're splitting hairs at this point.
Yeah.
Players and the talent.
I feel like there's a clear-cut top 7 with Harden and Leonard also mixed in.
With Leonard and Hart, yeah, that's true. A couple of them could be tied for 4 and 5 right there as well, because you're splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, because Brace thinks Harden is a top 5 player. I think he's just outside, and it's like because when you compare Russell Westbrook and James Harden, single-handedly, I mean, offensively they both bring a lot to the table. You could say Harden's better offensively, but when it comes to defense, it's not even close. No,
he's a lockdown defender. Westbrook is a lockdown defender, where Harden doesn't play defense at all. He just gets the calls, as we saw last night. Yeah. Some of those calls were really riling the fans up last night. I really thought that lady ref was going to get killed. I really did. They were making a couple phantom calls out there just because, oh, God, they were bad.
And I'll tell you what, this too. I don't think Harden is as bad as his reputation is either on the defensive end.
You don't think?
I don't think it's people say he's the worst in the league. I don't think he's the worst defender in the league. I don't think he's like I think there's a stigma attached to him, and that stigma is never going to go away no matter what he does.
Probably not, because it gets perpetually put in our face that he doesn't play great defense. Whenever they're really talking about Harden, he's been on Shaq and a Fool a lot because you see him kind of just standing there looking around, much like what Okafor does on the defensive end.
I mean, there's no denying he's awful.
Yeah, but he's definitely not the worst defender in the league. I wouldn't go too far as say something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I don't think he's. Yeah, people just like have this assumption of him. I mean, he's bad, obviously, but yeah, that's what that is. All right, let's see. More Sixers news. We have Joel Embiid, Dario Saric, Julia Okafor. They're in the Rising Stars Challenge. Yippee fucking do. So Okafor continues to see the bench, which I guess that means he's going to get traded.
He's out of the rotation completely. I think that's what it's leaning towards. You got to find a trade partner, and you want to get something out of it to where you're not really doing it as fool's gold, but your hands are kind of tied. But he's out of the rotation, and I don't think Brett Brown really wants to ruin what we have going on here. You got a great chemistry. You kind of have a rotation going on now, and by inserting Jahlil Okafor in there, it's going to kind of mess the chemistry up. So he's been quiet about it. He hasn't pouted. He hasn't come out in the media. He hasn't complained. So he's been a pro's pro. He's been a good teammate, so I got to give him credit for that. But where is he going to go? Where?
Do you think it's a problem that he's not playing because it's hurting his trade stock?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
But it's like apples, oranges. What are you going to do? Are you going to go out there and ruin the chemistry of your team, but you're also hurting his trade value because you're not really showing what he can do out there? We all know what he can do offensively, but I think it's hurting him too because you want him to get to be able to play with other players and show that he's not just a single guy that could just go out there and play the post and not really play with anybody. I've said it before. I think he's got to be the centerpiece of an offense for him to really flow. And he's shown that he hasn't been able to play with Joel or Noel. But you got to get him out there and get him some minutes. It was great to see Rashawn Holmes out there finally, though. Love that kid.
Yeah, he had a good game the other night, right?
Yeah, another guy lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. All right, I had a question. I forget what I was going to say. Yeah, okay. But back to Ja. Because, like, for a while, I remember I really wanted Avery Bradley in here. You know?
I do, too, because of what he can do.
And now I think you might not even be able to get Avery Bradley. I don't even know when you would even trade Ja. They may wait till the offseason again and trade him. And they might sign Noel. I think they're going to sign Noel.
I think so, too. And that's what I was going to ask you. Now, his camp came out and said today, that he wants at least $20 million a year. So you're looking at 5 years, $100 million for a guy that would be coming off the bench. Would you whip out the paycheck if you were BC and pay this man to come off the bench for $100 million?
Well, he can ask for $100 million, but he's not going to get $100 million. He's not going to get $20 million. He can set the bar, but that bar is going to come down. I would pay him money to come off the bench, though, because I think having that type of piece on our team, being that defensive type of presence, being able to step in the starting lineup if Embiid gets hurt, I think that's important as well. So I would give him money. I mean, 6 men are now more important than like ever in the NBA. Seems like you need a good bench now. So I would toss some money his way. I mean, obviously there's a lot of salary cap room for the Sixers, so I don't see this as a big deal about giving him a bunch of money. I would do it. And, you know, if you remember during the summer, for the longest time, there were scouts saying that, you know, Noel was the piece that everybody wanted, not Ja. And people weren't understanding why. And I think this season we're really seeing that with Ja, and his inability to play defense is just awful. Like he just can't guard.
He looks lost out there.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of Noel over Big Ja, just because I'm all about playing defense, and you don't find a guy that can play defense like this all around. I know people have said, oh, well, you've got Rashawn Holmes. Rashawn Holmes is good, but he doesn't have the defensive ability that Noel does. If
people think Noel is Rashawn Holmes, like, get your fucking head checked.
I just like sit there and like shake my head. It's like, no, because they don't want to pay Noel. They're like, I don't want to pay him $100 million. I would rather spend it on X amount of dollars on this guy. He's not worth it, and blah, 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 blah. And I completely think you're wrong. I think you would. And even if you did pay him big dollars, you got to remember the CBA is going to go up again. So we do have a ton of room to throw cash around. So I don't think even if we did pay him big dollars, it really wouldn't take a chunk out of this. Now, another trade rumor about Big Ja was that they were going to send him. Now, this just makes me laugh, that they were going to send Big Ja to Chicago, also Rashawn Holmes, and 2 first-round picks, and then the swap ability for Jimmy Butler. Why would you ever even have this thought conceived in your head? Why? And people are for it. Why? Why would you want to bring Jimmy Butler? You're literally loading up and giving all the assets you just built over the years for Jimmy Butler. I don't want to do that. For what? He's 27 years old. He's going to be demanding big money after a certain while. And by the time we are good, he's going to be a little older. And we just gave up all those draft picks that we fought so hard to get. I don't want that to happen. If we can send him to Chicago and get maybe like a Mirotic or something, I think we come out on top. But to give all that up for Jimmy Butler, I'm not doing it. No.
I'll tell you what, I'd consider a trade for Jimmy Butler, but I wouldn't give up all that. Yeah. I mean, I think Jimmy Butler is the type of player that can age because he's got a jump shot and he can defend a little bit. Well, a little bit. He's a great defender. But at the same time, it's like I kind of just do want to stay put and just let everything build itself up. Like if you want to trade Ja or Noel, fine. Just leave the draft picks alone.
Don't touch them. We work so hard to get them. You want youth in your team. It's you know why though? Everybody's so impatient. They don't want to wait anymore. They see the winning ways, so they want to go for it now. They just want to go for the goal right now. You still have to have patience. It's great to see us winning, but wait a little bit longer and we'll unfold and it will be so much better for the team.
Yeah, because you can get that value better than Butler total. Like whether you get some guards in this draft that's loaded with guards. I mean, that's what you do. That's what you're. It's not like you're gonna have drafts coming up where it's been like in the past where the front court's been loaded. This is a draft where you build your backcourt. I wouldn't worry about giving away picks right now. Just use them, and that's just what it is. But Butler, like I never took that seriously. Like that's just not going to happen. It's just not.
No, I mean you can kind of conceive the notion because they're a mess right now. Chicago's a mess, and he's their only piece that they really have to move to start their rebuild mode. They don't really have anything else, and if you do unload Butler, you would get multiple picks for him. So I could kind of see where that could be in the minds of the brain trust of Chicago. You have to unload him. And he's been on the trade block talk for the past couple years. It's like, when are they going to finally realize that they have to trade Jimmy Butler to rebuild? Because they're not the team that's the first, second seed anymore. They're not good. They got rid of Tibbs, and they just went downhill after that. So hopefully Brian Colangelo doesn't do something crazy like that, because I don't trust Brian Colangelo at all. Not even a little bit.
It reminds you of the 49ers, the Bulls. Well, they got rid of Thibodeau,
Harbaugh,
just like Harbaugh, and then they're still trying to stay relevant because during the offseason they bring in Dwayne Wade. They're still trying to win now. Rajon Rondo. They're prolonging the rebuild, and that's what the Niners were doing all those years. Now the Niners are just so bad, and they're going to be bad for a while. So.
Those signings were to get people's butts in the seats by bringing Wade back to his hometown, bringing Rondo, being a mediocre 7-8 seed. That's what that move was. That's all that was doing.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else we got on the Sixers slate? We're about 30 minutes in, so.
I wanted to pose you a question. Superstars get their own shoe endorsements, okay?
I forgot about this question. Yeah.
Yes. So is Embiid reach that upper echelon to where he gets his own shoe after this season?
Oh, he's getting his own shoe, absolutely, because look at the vibrant personality. He's going to be able to sell his own shoe. Are you serious? Like, if he's got a shoe called, like, the Shirley Temple or the Process or something, that shit is being sold.
So you think it's going to happen? You don't think, Mr. Tom, Dick, or Harry's going to walk into the big office to Mr. CEO and be like, well, I want to get this shoe for Joel Embiid, and they're shooting it down like, no. He could hurt his foot, and that's it. Nobody's going to buy his shoe, and it's really going to screw up everything. I don't know if that could be going through these guys' minds. I think he deserves a shoe too. I can't believe Paul George just got his first shoe, but somebody like Embiid would market the hell out of it, and I think it would be really awesome for him to get it. But they pose that question. His foot's bad. He could get hurt. That's a lot of money down the drain.
Nah, he'll get his own shoe. He's good. In other Embiid news, Barstool Sports had a story of him. I guess that there was a chat he was involved with some chick, and he was making some moves, and apparently Joel Embiid has a foot fetish.
Isn't that ironic? He revolves around the foot with this guy.
Yeah, so this model was like, playing around, and he wanted to see her feet.
So he's into the foot. Maybe sitting around for 2 years obsessing about his foot kind of propelled that into that notion about him having foot fetishes. That's great. He loves feet. He'll get his own shoe. He'll get that chick to model his shoe then. Awesome.
Yeah.
Way to break the ice with this chick.
Yeah, right. All right, so that's about it. I mean, we don't really need to talk about anything else. I mean, we're going to touch on TLC a little bit. I guess that can be part of our final thoughts right now because he's a guy that's been emerging, and he's like a slasher off the wings. I've noticed over recent weeks, just really flying off the wing. Looks comfortable. Now he goes straight to the rim, can finish with either hand. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot.
I was worried at the beginning of the season when we saw him play.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's like, why did we waste a pick on him? He looked completely lost. He looked like he deserved to be playing with the 87ers, but he has been more aggressive. I think he's more in the comfort zone. He is a great slasher, and you want somebody that can dish the ball like TJ. And when Ben comes back, you want to surround him with shooters and guys that can cut to the basket. I think it has to do, remember, he didn't know how to speak English when he came over here. So him learning the language is probably really helping his situation out a lot. He's been playing really good, and I've been loving what I've seen out of Brett Brown. I was never a guy to jump off the wagon with Brett Brown. The guy has never had a team around him at all, and for people to call for his head is complete, ridiculous, asinine notion. Why? The guy has never had a team, and now you start to see when he has some players to build around and play with, that he knows what he's doing. He's a great coach. He came from Popovich's tree. I think the guy knows what he's doing. And when he gets Ben back in here, look out. I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy. He's a great coach. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he knows what he's doing. And he's the coach, I think, to take us to the promised land, just like Larry Brown was when AI was here for so long. Great coach.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't, judged him yet because he hasn't had Ben Simmons yet. So I want to see all the pieces before I judge him. I will say that he does need to get better with his late game time out of timeout play calling. I think he's got to draw up some better plays sometimes. I mean, earlier in the year when, maybe it was just Gerald Henderson just taking the ball and chucking it up, but to see Gerald Henderson take all these late game shots earlier in the year was pissing me off. And to see them not even get the ball to Embiid on some of these possessions, that would piss me off. But lately it's been a little bit better. I referenced that inbounds play, the Saric throw up top to Covington. That was nice.
Awesome.
And lately he's been calling, not calling timeouts, just kind of letting the guys play. So, yeah, so some adjustments in that area. But I still think it's too soon to really judge him. I think we do need to see everything at his disposal. The team is playing a lot better defense, but Embiid obviously helps with that. So, because you look at their defensive metrics, with Embiid in the lineup, they're among the best in the league, one of the best defenses in the league, and that's really incredible. So, without Embiid, one of the worst. With Embiid, one of the best. What's that?
I said, well, look what he did last night. He went coast to coast. He chased James Harden down, blocked the shot, and then ran all the way down and scored the bucket. You don't see that from a 7'2" big man ever.
No.
When do you see that? It's just unbelievable ability. And I think it helps Brett Brown not to call a timeout because maybe he gets too much in his head on what to do. Just let him go out there, freelance, and let them finish and figure it out for themselves. Phil Jackson did it and always worked out for him. Just let the players figure it out for themselves.
Well, he had MJ.
Well, and he had Kobe. But when they would get in tough situations, when they were down 15, 20, he wouldn't call timeout. He would let them dig themselves out of the hole. And I think
I do remember that. And I remember that. But when you have it's different though when your team is talented. I do like a coach that knows when to call that timeout. Like Greg Popovich is always good at that. Knowing when to halt the momentum. Because sometimes it's good to halt the momentum before the momentum even comes. Sometimes coaches, and Popovich seems to have that down. So yeah, all right. So that's about it. We got final thoughts. We got everything in there. Joel Embiid got snubbed. It's bullshit. Anything else you want to add?
He's coming. He's coming. We're going to be the beast for the East for the next 10 years. So, LeBron, you can take down your crown because you're done, because the Sixers are on their way up. And Embiid is taking us all the way to the top.
He's coming, huh? He's coming.
He's coming.
The NBA could have allowed him to come a lot sooner if they would have let him go on his date.
Well, I think maybe they were trying to do that to kind of stop him from seeing Rihanna then.
Playing a little hard to get, huh?
Yes.
Is that what's going on?
Yes. Maybe Rihanna somehow tapped into Adam Silver. Was like, don't let this happen.
So is Rihanna definitely the chick, or is it like that Canadian model?
I don't know. I know he's been on the Rihanna train for the past couple of years. I just assumed it was still her.
Well, now that I know he's got a foot fetish, because Chad Johnson always tweets about Rihanna's feet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
So maybe that he's probably into Rihanna because of the feet.
Maybe he is.
No joke.
He doesn't look at a chick's physical features. He just looks right at the foot like, man, girl, you look good in that open-toed shoe. Fantastic. Look at the way those toes curl.
Oh, the texture.
Oh, the texture. The way the nails are painted. It's fantastic.
So, yeah, JoJo's going to be coming, all right. All right, that's Kyle Gaffner. I'm Adrian Vecchio. We're out. Peace.
Peace.